you doing, guys? Good. I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody else, to everybody out there that helped me to get on the stage, because the two speakers that were before me are actually doing what I want to be doing. They're my inspirations. I'll tell you more about my story in a sec, but there's a couple reasons I'm on this stage. There's the one reason I'd like to believe, which is because I'm a really great speaker and I've worked really hard and all this stuff, and they just put me on stage because I thought I was great. That's not the reason. I'll tell you the real reason in a little while. But first I want to talk about you. So I'm curious. Because the first time I came to Yes Group was in November. And what's up? 2 minutes? You're just doing a reboot. Got it. No wonder. You know what it says. So I want to know a little bit more about you guys. I know you're into personal development and stuff like that, but what's going on for you this year? What are your goals? Who wants to share? Tell me something about what you want to achieve. It's 2012, right? What do you want to achieve this year? I know it's like, I don't want to raise my hand, but come on, somebody say something about something. What is it?
I'm going to publish my book.
You're going to publish your book. You know he's going to personal development trainings because I'm going to publish my book. I love it. Cool. What's it a book about?
It's a book about training the mind so the body can follow. So people have seen me speak here before.
You have? Cool.
And I'm into really using your mind to actually be the first step on your healthy you and exercise. So it's a complete book.
Good.
Oh, sorry, it's a
cool.
complete book on all of that.
All right. Who else? What else are you guys going to achieve this year? Kalpna.
I'm going to get married.
You're going to get married. That's interesting. It's my girlfriend. Awesome. Look, I'll be holding the thunder up here. You just, okay? Who else? Somebody else that's not going to marry me. Yes?
I'm definitely not going to marry you, but I'm in the first year of a foundation degree. I'm studying counselling and psychotherapy. I'm a plasterer, and I've been for 20 years, and I'm changing my career completely.
Cool, man. Good round of applause. Love it. Who else? One more. Oh, that was loud. Okay, you raised your hand before. What is it?
Yeah.
Here comes the mic. I want to make sure you're here.
Yeah, I'm running my very first workshop this year.
Cool. What's it about? Free advertisement. Who else? What is the promoter?
It's about following your heart, but also getting the strategy right.
Cool. I love this. So much following the heart love stuff going on tonight. I got a little bit of that too. Good. Cool. Well, I've got some news. Oh, this is just my opinion, and you might not like this, but I've seen this stuff. I've been to personal development trainings, and most likely, you guys, it's not going to happen. Because you can't have success. You cannot have success. You cannot have success alone. And I know that might seem obvious when I say it now. You're like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. But this is an important thing. It's an important thing, and I'm going to try to demonstrate why it's so important, especially for us in this room. Now let me tell you a little about my background. Yeah, that's me when I was in my early 20s. Oh, so much better looking back then. So anyway, this was back when I was in my early 20s, came out of university, studied physics, got into property investing and developing, started selling houses, and I did well. 2 years, I was going to make $1 million, before I was 30, that was my goal. 2 years went by, I made it about a quarter of the way there, and I said, you know what? I got my house that I want, I fixed it up the way I wanted it, I made a bunch of cash, I got the car I want, I did all the stuff that I wanted in those kind of dreams, but there was still something, even though I was in a band, there was something else that I wanted, and that something else was I just wanted to travel. This was this call I had to adventure out in the world. I traveled once earlier when I was at university, and it's just like, I have to go see the world, right? So I packed everything up, I stopped at that place before I hit that ultimate goal, and I followed this thing we've been talking about tonight, imagination, this dream. And I packed up everything, and I left, and I bought a one-way ticket to Malaysia, and I didn't know how long it would last, but it ended up lasting 3 years. I just traveled. I lived out of a backpack for 3 years. In the beginning, I was moving around a lot. I did literally everything I could think of. I lived by my heart every day. Every place that I went was decided based on what happened in that place. And I learned a lot about what it meant to follow your heart and to live your dreams. And I have to say, I'm really lucky. And also in that time, I ran out of cash from the property, by the way. It's quite expensive to travel and not work for years. I started another business with some friends online. I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Who's heard of it? Yeah, cool. How many of you guys are actually outsourcing? A couple? All right, good. Well, I did it. I outsourced to India. I built a bunch of websites. I had a team of guys working for me. Ended up doing some really huge sites while I was traveling 10 hours a week. And we launched a website in Times Square. This was the biggest site we did. And I kept traveling. I did some philanthropy stuff. I built a library for some kids in Cambodia. And I did some coaching as well, some human rights coaching in India. And all of that stuff was cool, and I was still moving around. I was still on my adventure, still learning stuff, meeting so many people. But it started to feel like I was just kind of traveling to travel, and there was something else that needed to happen. And it was kind of like, I didn't know what it was, but I had this feeling like it was time to stop, but I can't. I'm John the Traveler. I'm going to keep traveling. I'm going to keep living my dreams. But then there was this like, well, it's all about you. Why aren't you supposed to give something back? And yeah, I was doing the charity stuff, but it did seem like the moving around stuff, it wasn't right anymore. So I was sitting on the beach. This is in California, and I had just ridden my bicycle from the northwest corner, Oregon, all the way down to California. I was headed to South America. That was the goal, living on my bike. And I was just sitting there on the beach, and I was like, it's time to stop. It's time to give back. And I didn't know what it meant yet, but I saw a door, and I was like, I want a familiar door that I can see every day that I can open. And I zoomed out, like Google Maps style in my brain, and it was in London. So 2 weeks later, I was here. And that was 3 years ago, and I haven't left. Now, I came here knowing that it was time for me to give back and contribute, and it took me a year and a half to even figure out what that meant. Because I came here thinking, you know what, I've started businesses before, I'm going to start a new business, it's easy, I'm successful, I know how to do this shit, I can just go start a new business, I'll start it in a new country, watch this. A year and a half goes by, the bank account goes like this, and I was broke in London, not really having much success, doing some magic out in Covent Garden. And yeah, it was fun, but I was broke, you know? And I was struggling. And even when I started to figure out personal development was what I do, I want to help other people live their dreams. That's what I figured out, right? I was still struggling. And then about a year ago, things have started to turn around. They really started to come together. And in that time, I started thinking about, well, by the way, I didn't stop traveling. I still go out from time to time, but it's usually like this style, hitchhiking. This was in Oslo. I started to figure out, looking back, now that I'm starting to get, things are starting to come together for me, what was going on? Why was I struggling so much? And I thought about all the stuff that I did. And I realized that all that success and the real estate stuff wasn't because I was good or smart. It's because my friend Paul told me how to sell. And so did my friend Jake. It was because my friend Van believed in me and he invested in a property with me. And my friend Harry knew how to fix houses up. These are people I connected with, right? And all that stuff in Times Square, wow, that's amazing, John, that you did that. But it only happened because some people decided that they needed some help with a website that I had a connection with. Eric, Kevin, Megan, Elise, Callum. The Magnetic Man, attract women through greatness. That's my major focus today with my business partner and girlfriend, Kat Lemanik, in the back. This is the business that's really started to bring things together for us. And I could sit here and be like, yeah, I know how to do it. It's making it happen. I'm making it happen, right? It's all me. But she's my partner, so obviously it's big time her, or all her, yeah. Hey, huh? Yeah. You can sign up with the email list in back. She's got it back there, yeah. She's not married yet, so. And the Yes Group, I told you I'd tell you why I'm really here. I would love to tell you it's because I'm an incredible speaker, but I'll tell you what. I made a little press kind of kit, and I made some videos, and I put them up on my website of me speaking, and I sent them to every Yes Group email I could find on the internet last year. Nobody wrote back. They didn't even get a response. And then my friend Jarek, who was my coach and now has become my friend, introduced me to Tony, who's in the back over there. And Tony and I spoke on the phone, and did we connect, Tony? We connected. And then Tony introduced me to Kate. Where's Kate? Kate. And I met Kate, and we had a chat. And we just had a drink, and we had a chat, and we connected. And that's how I got here today. I'm not ashamed to say it. I mean, I'm here because I made connections. And you guys know that this stuff is kind of true, right? You've heard this stuff before. This is not new news that I'm talking about. But I want to make this point strong and clear because it's important, I think now, more than it has been for a long time. Something's changed in the past 50 or so years, or maybe even before that. We used to, in this world, I mean, for all of human recorded history, we used to figure out who we were and what we did by like the stuff going on out there, right? There was religion. And that was like, I am a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or I am a Jew, or something like that. And then there was nations. I am an American. I'm British. There was families. I'm a father. I'm a brother. But now, you know, things are changing. I'm a lawyer. But this stuff doesn't really stand anymore. Religion is slowly degrading in the West. Nations are coming together, and you don't feel as much. I mean, are you European? Are you British? Are you just like a Western? What is it? You know, all this stuff is melting. Korea, people don't stay in a job for more than a few years anymore. So what happened is that all that external stuff that used to be like, I am this, is starting to fall away. And then what happens? You start to think, oh, well then who am I, right? Who saw this movie, Iron Lady? It's a good movie. In the character for Margaret Thatcher said, it used to be about trying to do something, now it's about trying to be someone. And I think she's right. I would love that line. And this is what I call the first wave of authenticity. Who said, I just want to be me, I want to be myself. I want to live out that truth. And this is what I love what Darren was talking about tonight, about finding that path, finding that journey, figuring out, you know? And the words identity and stuff get mixed up, but I think at the core of it, we're in the same place, we're talking about that same thing, about you just want to find that path and live out that true thing that is yourself. That's maybe either been there the whole time and you've been distracted by, or you know what I mean, because of all the external stuff, but now it's so clear that stuff's gone, it's like, there's just only you left, and I want to be myself, I want to be real. So we're all striving to realize that. And in striving to realize that, we focus on ourselves. And this isn't a bad thing. I'm not going to stand up here and say it's bad, because shit, I lived all my dreams because I only cared about me. I just did what I wanted to do every single day. On some level, that's selfish. But it was awesome. The I thing. The problem with the focus on the I is that although you can get awesome results, you can have an awesome life, it sometimes gets more difficult because you start to get a little bit of a tunnel vision. And you're so focused on yourself, you're like, focus, focus, focus on me. And you start to forget about all the people around you, all this other stuff that's also important. And that's not good. That's not good, because then you start to feel disconnected. And human connection, I mean, this event stems off of the Anthony Robbins thing. Human connection is one of the 6 human needs, right? Human connection is so important. And they usually talk about how it's important for fulfillment. And I'm going to talk about that. It is. But it's also important for your success. So there's a paradox, because what I'm saying is that, like, if you focus so much on your success, then you'll have that success, but you won't have the human connection. Well, actually, it starts to fall apart. So you focus too much on yourself, you forget about human connection, actually, it's counterproductive. If you want success, you need balance. We always talk about balance, but specifically, what does that mean? No success alone. I'll talk about success through connection. Well, the first piece of success, which I alluded on, was fulfillment, right? Do you guys agree? If you're connecting with people, you get more fulfillment, yes? Yes. Okay. So it's obvious, but just to make it a little more clear, what is the worst punishment in the world besides, like, the death penalty? Prison for prisoners. Solitary confinement. Imagine that, you're in prison, and now you have to go be by yourself. No, I don't want to be alone, I want to hang out with the other criminals. That's insane, right? It's so painful to be alone. Because connection is important. It's important. How good does a hug feel? Anybody hug somebody today at the event? Yeah. Even if it's a stranger, it just feels good. When Tony and I, this is the first time Tony and I met in person, it was like the best hug ever. It just feels good. Human connection feels good. Fulfillment. But productive. Human connection is productive for your success. All that stuff that you want, your book, getting your book done, getting your course done. Human connection is a huge part of your success. The more connection, the more success you have. Now, I read this book called Connected by Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler. It's a kind of a geeky book. If you're into that, read it. But otherwise, just take these few tips that I'm going to give you out of it, which are really cool. The first one is 6 degrees of separation. Who's heard of it? Yes. Yeah. Who believes it's true? Not as many people, but I got some news. It is true. First study was done in the 1960s. The most recent one in 2002. It's legit. Every single human being on this earth is no more than 6 hops away from you through personal relationships. It's true. That's wild, right? And that's kind of cool, but let me ask you to think of it a different way. Every opportunity that you have in life is waiting for you in the mind and existence of some person, right? Every opportunity, it's existing in some person. They can offer that to you. So every opportunity that you want is 6 hops away from you right now. And that means that every single person you connect with is like that box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right? Is this person that I connect with going to be that one that connects me with that opportunity, who I am definitely connected to within at most 6 degrees of separation? And this, I hope, is a little bit of motivation. But you've heard this before. It's not what you know, it's... Yeah, just tweak it a little bit, who you connect with. Because we can know so many people. I've got over 1,000 friends on Facebook, right? But I don't know them all I'm not connected with them enough where they'd actually help me out. Not every single one of them, right? But it's who you connect with. And I'm going to go into talk about what that means and how to do that in the second half of my talk. How to do it well. Connect with more people. Simple, right? Not meet more people. Not make more friends, because some of you might think, oh, I've got enough friends already. My time is so limited. It's London. It's even hard enough to see the friends that I have. And my clients say this to me all the time, and I say, well, here's the answer. Basically, it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship and hang out with and be friends with all the time. Connect. Emotionally connect. Make the moment that you interact with somebody mean something to both of you. And again, I'm going to go into what that means. But you can have people in your life at all different levels. Close friends, kind friends, acquaintances, people you kind of know. But every single level you can connect with them. So they feel that connection. And they remember you. And they feel that you might help them out. So maybe they'll help you out at some point. So connect with more people. This one's kind of cool. This is a little bit nerdy, but stick with me for a second. Be central in your network. This was one of the cool things that I figured out that was in this book. That in the middle, that's Jesus. And you got like Moses, John the Baptist, Peter, all the people that he's really close with. And then but the whole point is he's at the center of the network. JC, center. Who doesn't know Jesus? I'm not preaching, by the way. It's just, there was the only image I found. But it's basically, he's the center of the network. So the people who are at the center of the network, and that means the people whose friends are most connected with each other, they get more opportunities than anyone else. So the more central you are in your network, the more your friends know each other, and the more your friends' friends know each other, the more of those opportunities come to you. It's just how networks work. This is new stuff they're figuring out right now because the computers are finally powerful enough to analyze networks. So what does that mean? How do you work with this? How do you use that to help you connect your connections lead to more stuff? You just connect people with each other. You ever heard of that? Oh, he's a connector. He knows everybody. He's a connector. He's got a really great life. It's because he's a connector. Or she's a connector, sorry. Sexism. She's a connector. So you introduce your friends to each other. Have parties. Connect people. Next. This one's cool too. 3 degrees of influence. This is something that we kind of intuitively know, but it's really cool to see the science. Well, for me anyway. 3 degrees of influence. If your friend's brother's friend is obese, you have a 5% more chance of being obese. Even if you've never met them before. Yeah. If your friend's friend's friend is in a bad mood this week, and everybody sees each other, you have a 5% more chance of being in a bad mood. It starts at about 25% at the first degree, then like 12, and then 5. So everybody within 3 degrees of you, even though you never met them, are affecting you every day. How you feel, what you believe, what you're motivated to do, what you're thinking about, everything. And we like to think we have total free will, like I'm an independent person that makes all my decisions from within me, but we're not. We're so connected. Everything is influencing us. So how do you use that? Oh yeah, this is the slide for the previous thing. Anyway, cookies, beliefs, all these things. Upgrade your connections, right? Now, it's kind of a weird thing to say, like, go make better friends. Ditch your crap friends, find some better ones. No, I'm not into that. But you can add, right? We're talking about adding. So maybe I should say add, not upgrade, because that actually doesn't make any sense now. Add new, higher level connections, better connections. Instead of hanging out with people like this, you guys want to be hanging out with guys and girls like this and like this. I think you'd agree, right? What would your life be like if all the people you were hanging out with were like these guys? Holy shit, right? They're out there, and they're happy to connect with you. Upgrade your connections. Now the last one I'm going to lead to the end. The last reason for human connection. The last reason why you should really take this seriously and be looking at it. Now let's go into how to connect. This is the meat and potatoes. Is that Americanism? That's just not funny? All right. How to connect. This is why I'm up on the stage right now, besides the fact that I'm lucky, but this is my passion, right? This is what I do every day. My business with Kapna, we help people connect. We help guys connect with women. And it always comes down, almost always comes down to trust. What did I say earlier? We want to connect, right? Every single one of you in this room wants to connect with other people. The only reason you won't is because you're not sure if you can trust them. There's an obstacle, there's a barrier in the way. So the whole game of connecting is to generate trust. And, you know, I could sit here and I could try and teach you tactics to create trust. What you want to do is every time they raise their hand, you raise your hand at the same time, blink at the same rate as them, use the same pronouns, then they'll trust you. But I'm not into that. I could also tell you that you could create a strategy where if you call them this many times and you do this over a certain span of time, then they'll start to trust you, but I'm not into that either. No strategies, no techniques. But I'm going to give you guys principles. Two of my favorite ones for creating human connections. The first one, oh yeah, the trust thing. Why is it such an issue right now? Well, it's always an issue because it's natural, but even more so lately, especially if you're in business, with banks or any kind of business, for obvious reasons, right? We don't trust that much. We don't trust that much. And why is it important? This is a picture of a brain with a spotlight, right? So this is, the brain, biologically, evolutionary speaking, the brain does one thing. It does its best job that it can to predict the future. If this brain can predict the future, then it can keep me safe, it can keep me alive, and we're okay, we can keep going. That's the job of the brain at a biological level, all right? You ever been walking down the street, and you're just walking, and somebody's like on their phone texting, and you're like trying to see which way they're gonna go, and you can't really tell, so you just kind of stop and just, you know? It's because you can't see their eyes. Because when somebody's walking on the street, when you look them in the eyes, they're telling you where they're gonna go next. So you can't see their intention. So you don't know where they're going to go. So you don't trust them in that moment, in that context. So what we want is to see and to know people's intention. And we want to know that because then we know where they're going. Oops. Next. This is what I call the second wave of authenticity. A little bit different. I want you to be real. I want you on the stage to be real. I want you to be real so I know where you're going. I want to know your intention so I can predict the future so I'm safe. Right? So what do? To make connections, you just be real. You just be yourself. Now, I can go really deep into what it means to be real. But I want to make it real simple for you right now because I don't have enough time to go really deep into that. Obviously, there's a big part of knowing who you are, right? Knowing your path, knowing your journey. Thank you. But another piece, to really simplify it, is in this moment, whatever's going on between here and here needs to be congruent. Whenever you're not being real, there's some shit going on inside. Something's incongruent, you're not feeling right. You ought to have what I call internal integrity. You need an internal integrity. Your thoughts and your feelings need to be in line. Or your intuition needs to be in line with what you're doing on the outside, with what you're saying. That's the best thing you can do, to focus on that. Then you become more real in that moment. Because it's a moment, we're always changing, right? You want to be real in the moment. Now this is an ugly picture, and it's not a very nice thought, but one who, just assume for a minute something silly, something horrible, that this roof caved in. And it just fell, and the lights went out, and there's a huge bang, and there's like a buzzing sound, and there's smoke, and you heard people yelling and crying, and you were like, actually, nothing hurt you, and you were okay. And you're like, oh shit, I'm okay. You check, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. What is the next thing you think of instantly? Of the other people, right? The instant you know you're okay, you think, are you okay? Instantly. Because this is hardwired into you. I'm okay. Are you okay? This is how it works. That's why giving is what I call the glue that holds relationships together. Is because the moment you say, are you okay, that's you giving. The moment you say that. Now it's weird because we talked about this whole focus on the self thing. The reason the focus on I can be counterproductive in creating human connections is that if you're so constantly focused on searching and becoming this thing, you're not okay until you get there. right? And if you're not okay until you get there, then how are you going to easily, automatically, unconsciously say, are you okay? You're not. You might force yourself cognitively because you wear a bracelet to remind you, which I love. I'm not knocking it. Pay it forward, get a bracelet, and sign up for this thing because I'll be there on March 28th. It's going to be awesome. But you don't need reminders when you know that you're okay because it's built in. So give. This is the cool trick. So I just stood here saying, like, you're not going to unconsciously give, but you can hotwire. You can do it backwards. You know that thing where they say if you smile, then you actually start to feel happy? You've heard that before? Well, if you give, you start to feel okay. It works like that. Who can attest? Yes? Is it true? Good. If you give, you start to feel okay. And it's so good to feel okay, because when you're okay, you're so much more focused, you're more productive, everything just works better. So when I said this talk was about how to succeed through connection and contribution, this is the contribution piece. Now, contribution, giving gifts, donating and stuff, that stuff's cool, it's important, you should do it. And contribution doesn't have to be something that you do that's so overt and obvious. Contribution can be an attitude, a way you move through the world, the way you talk to people, the way you interact with people. And this is what we teach our guys to do, is to contribute, and that causes attraction. It doesn't have to be intimate sexual attraction, it can be aspirational attraction. Attraction in a platonic way, in a friendship way. So when I teach giving, the first question is always, well, if it's not giving like a donation, well, then what can I give? So from what I've said so far, I'm just curious, what do you guys think? What could you give? Be on time. Is that what you said? Give your time. Yeah, give your time. What else? Attention. Yeah, good, good. Oh, all right. What is it? Love. Yeah, cool. What else?
Smile.
Support, smile?
Praise.
Praise. Yeah. Experience, that's right. A cup of tea. Respect.
Compliments.
What is it?
Compliments. Good compliments.
Compliments, yeah. Appreciation. Being honest. Being real. Look at this. When I asked you guys what you wanted to achieve this year, it was like, but when I say, what do you give? It's like boom, 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 boom. The stuff's just there, you know. Because you oriented yourself towards giving, and it just comes. And what I'm saying is, when you interact with people, if you just think, in this moment, I'm going to give, it just comes. I have another thought. I'm going to hold it for a second. It just comes. Now, the opposite of giving is taking. We've all met this guy. You walk into some kind of shop or something, and you're like, just going to look at stuff, and he's coming up, and he's like, hey, how are you today? Nice to see you. How have you been? And you're just talking to you and asking me stuff, being like nice, saying the right things, and you're just looking this guy in the eyes and you're like, he just wants to sell me something, he doesn't even know that I'm actually standing here, he just sees my wallet. You felt that before, right? That's what I would call having a taking intention instead of a giving. And he might say all the same exact things. Hey, how are you today? But his intention is to take. Remember the spotlight? And you guys can see right through the words, right through everything, and you know exactly what's going on. You feel that. You feel that he's taking or she's taking. And that doesn't feel good. Now, I know most of us in here aren't in that place, and it's okay, right? But the problem is it's not just this or that, just like everything in life, right? It's not just this or that. There's a middle ground where we most of the time hang out, and it's what I call trading. Trading often masquerades as giving. I'll give you a couple examples. This is where all this stuff really starts to become really important. What did I say in my video? Who watched my promotional video for this talk? Okay, one person? Cool. Two? Sweet. Basically, I said something in it which I thought was quite bold, but I haven't seen it anyway. But what I said was, if you come to this talk, I'm going to give you a way to be completely fearless. A way to be fearless. And it's not going to be about changing your beliefs. It's not going to be about state. It's just going to be a little trick, and it's going to turn fear off like that. Trading. Who was talking about the video, being nervous to be on video? You. What was your name?
Juliet.
Juliet. I know where you're at because I've been through that. I started doing videos. It's scary at first. Same thing with being on stage. If at any moment on stage I start to feel a little bit of anxiety comes up, because, what was I supposed to say? And then think, well, what are they thinking? I'm just standing here. Here's what goes on in my mind. This is for you, Juliet, and it's going to help you with your videos. I'm feeling anxiety, and I'm feeling that because I have fear. And I have fear. What do I have a fear of? I have a fear that I am going to look silly, or I'm going to look stupid. I have a fear that something isn't going to work out for me. So am I taking? No, I'm not taking because I'm doing this talk for them. I care about them. Oh, but I still have this fear, so what the hell's going on? I'm trading. I'm giving this stuff to you guys as long as I get your approval. And as soon as I realize that, I say to myself, how dare I? How dare I stand up on this stage in front of you, people who I don't even know yet, who came out here to listen to me, and stand here worried about what I will get out of this? How dare I? And when you're sitting in front of that camera, and you start to feel anxiety come up, remember that it's just you worried about yourself. And now I might sound rude or something, but it's a good kick in the ass. How dare I? And what you do is you shift your intention to only give. To only give. And it is like magic. We take guys in our workshops, they come, and they are crippled with fear to talk to beautiful women. They think about it, they'll shake, they'll look at the ground, cold sweats, they can't even open their mouth. And we give them this stuff, and we show them how to shift to a place of giving. We just had a workshop the other night. A guy came back from a previous one to share with the other guys. Thank you. He rode the same train for a year, petrified, never even considering talking to a woman. After the workshop, he realized that when he can give, it's just so much easier. The fear instantly vanishes because I'm just sharing, I'm just giving. Now he's talking to women on the train all the time, meeting women, going on a date. And that's like, okay, it's a particular context, dating, but I'm telling you, it works for everything. I use it on stage, I use it for the videos, everything. When it comes to human connection, it's really strong. So what it comes down to, and this just fits in with everything that the other guys have been saying tonight, Darren and Skip. The difference that makes a difference, whether you're trading, taking, or you're giving, is are you coming from a place of fear, or are you coming from a place of love? And this is the other way the brain works, right? We've got two things going all the time. Things kind of keep us safe and things that we want to move towards. And it's just a fight. This is the age-old thing, the fear and love dynamic, right? It's not new. But what I'm hoping to do here with the giving, trading, taking thing is to help you contextualize it. If at any time you're not sure if you're giving, taking, or trading, ask yourself, am I considering this situation because I fear or because I love? It's because I fear, you're trading, you're taking. It's because you love, you're giving. Another way for trading, if at any moment you're keeping score, you know, I called him like 3 times, he's not calling me back, or I did this, and now I haven't gotten that yet, you're keeping score. And I just want to make a point too, I've talked about these techniques and strategies kind of for like, make more friends, connect with more people. And you can go into those situations very easily in the way it's trading. I'm connecting my friends and I better see some results. But the art in this is having the understanding of the concepts, but in the actual interactions, you just let go of those concepts and you just give. You have the faith in the ideas that you will have influence, they'll have influence on you, all these things. That these connections, more connections will lead to great things, but in every single interaction, you don't ever think about that stuff, because then you're just like that guy, right? You're just like that guy is taking. Hey, come to my party and I'll introduce you to some people and hopefully I'll end up getting some opportunities from you at some point. Do you want to go to that party? No. Just let it go. Let it go when you're meeting people and just believe in it. Have faith in it. Fear and love. The last piece. The last reason why human connection is important. While I was reading this book, Connected, I couldn't help but think about what it would be like to read it upside down. The entire book was about, well, for the most part, about how all that stuff going out there in the world, all the different connections affects me, affects myself. But I was reading this book and I was like, well, what if I eat a cookie? And that means that my friend's brother's friend, who I've never met, has a 5% more chance of eating a cookie, and maybe he's got a weight problem. That's not really cool of me. I mean, what about like if I'm in a crap mood and I go into the store and I'm kind of grumpy with the cashier? Well, it's just one person, whatever. But actually, no. Who's got a calculator? Raise your hand. What's a calculator? Good. Pull it out. How many people do you think you interact with per week that in some level connect with you enough to kind of get to rub off some of your mood with? How many people? What's that? How many? 300? That's a big freaking number. Does anybody think it's lower? Come on, that you interact, you actually connect with them enough where like they can literally, your mood can affect them.
50.
15, 12, 10, 50. You want to say 20, 25, something like that? 20. 20 times 20 times 20. How many people? Wait, am I supposed to trust the calculator? 8,000? Okay, I think it's 8,000. Why am I waiting for the calculator? My time's up too, almost. Okay, real quick, this is the end. Have you ever thought about the fact that 8,000 people are affected by your mood every week? And this isn't just like some like random thing that maybe is true. It is science and it's accurate, it's true. Read the book, it's in there. It's measurable, a measurable effect. An even stronger effect than the people closer in. You have so much influence. Everything you do, everything you say affects people so much. Wicked short story. I was in Egypt. I met a family, Egyptian family. They took me out on their boat. It was wonderful on the Nile on Easter. We had a great time. And I was in dinner at their house, a father and all his daughters and his son. And there was a little daughter there. She's about 14. And we'd been having fun all day. We couldn't speak the same language, but we were laughing, having a good time. We were laughing about the fact that, you know, little silly things like how I wash my hands in the sink different than her, and how my language is different than her, and how we dress differently and stuff. And there was a point when we were having dinner where she was just staring at me. And she said something in Arabic, and my girlfriend at the time had to translate it. And what she said was, this might be funny for you guys, but for me at that moment it was a little bit awkward. How come he's so nice if he's an American? Right? I know, people always laugh when I say this shit in other countries, but in America like, oh my God, oh geez, see, that's the problem. When I say, hey, yeah, okay. Anyway, so it was funny, but in that moment I was like, oh no, that's not good. And it mattered to me to connect with her. And now I can say, intuitively at that time, I knew it mattered. I knew that I had to make sure that she understood. And I told her that Americans are not bad people, we're good people. And I made sure that I continued to connect with her throughout, because intuitively understood, and you guys get this, but scientifically as well. Everything that I did with her wasn't just about her, it was about all the people she would meet, and her ideas would travel, and travel, and travel. There'd be thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And so in the end, this has been about you not being able to have success alone. I hope I've made my case. I hope you guys get that. I think you do, but I hope I made it a little bit clearer, because it's true. You cannot have success alone. And inasmuch as you cannot have success alone, you cannot do this without us. We cannot do this without you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.